All right, so I had a question. How many of you have ever had a close encounter or brush with death? Came close to dying. Really, I thought it was going to be more of you. So, as crazy as some of you, I thought for sure more hands would go up. I've shared this with many of you. I don't know how many remember, but when I was 12 years old, I almost drowned. I grew up in Michigan, and we used to go camping in Muskegon, Michigan, on Lake Michigan, and there's all these beautiful sand dunes, and it's kind of crazy that Michigan, you wouldn't think of Michigan that way, but it's in the Midwest, and they have these huge Great Lakes, and these Great Lakes are really more like seas. And on any particular day, it can be as smooth as glass, the water on Lake Michigan. And other days, you can have waves 8-10 feet tall, right? It's crazy. We were camping out of Muskegon. We were having a really good time because we loved, it's fresh water, so it doesn't sting your eyes or anything like that. It's great. So we're out there, and the waves are huge. And there must be a storm in Wisconsin or something, but the waves are coming in, and they're really big, and we're body surfing. And it's just a ton of fun. And I remember I got out there, and I was kind of out about, a little bit about waist deep. And then I was like looking and talking to somebody. I was probably one of my brothers or sisters or something. And I noticed the water started moving down rather rapidly. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I turn around, there's this huge wave. It just smacks me. And I just fall. And the way I sat like cross-legged, like somehow my legs crossed and then my body just went forward. And I open my eyes and I just see sand just pushed to the side. And I'm like doing everything because it scares me. I'm 12. And I'm doing everything I can to try to push myself up. And finally it kind of relieves. And I get back up and I'm like coughing. And I'm like, I was already exhausted because I'd used all of my energy to try to get out, right? And then it started going down again. And I'm like, oh no. And I'm trying to run, right? And it's like, you can't run. It's like it's just pulling you back. And it's like, ah. And then, bam, hits me again. This time I'm just completely prostrate, right there in my face in the sand. And I'm just trying to get my arms up. And I'm using every ounce of energy that I have. And then it subsides, of course. And it starts going back, and I get up, and I'm like coughing, and I feel exhausted. And in those moments, I am promising God every penny I ever make in my life. I am promising if I ever have children, He can have all of them. And I can continue to confirm that commitment. I was promising, I will live for you forever, just let me live. And then, honest to God, I would not lie to you. This wave hit me perfectly. And I body surfed, man. I remember seeing like people under me. Now maybe my mind expanded a little bit, but people were running from me because I was like Superman on this wave. And I was coming in strong, baby. I was exhausted. I could not move. I landed on the shore. The water it was so much like you see on TV where you're just trying to move out of the water, but you're exhausted, right? And I was just like, thank you, God. I was like, that was the first time in my life where I actually thought about death. Now, don't get me wrong. Like all of us, when I was a kid, I didn't want to die. But the thing is, when you're kids, you think you're kind of invincible. I ain't got to worry about that until I'm at least in my 60s, right? Because that's super old, right? I was somebody from my high school pinged me because they were doing some kind of reunion. I'm sure it was like the 10th high school reunion. No, yeah, and it was like I was like this like. She was just like, I can't believe we're our grandparents' age, like when we were in high school. And it's true, right? It's just, time is a weird thing. And when you're young, that seems so far away, like anything to do. Like, I ain't got to worry about any of that kind of stuff. But then when you have something or when someone close to you maybe passes, all of a sudden, the idea of eternity starts to matter. Like, you talk about eternity, it's like, yeah, what's next? I was 12 years old, and I was confronted because I really did think I was going to die. And that terrified me as a 12-year-old. And God rescued me, right? Well, I felt like God rescued me. I was sailing on that wave, baby. And it's like, okay, so now what do you do with your life, Mike? I was 12 years old. I'm like, what do I do with my life? I go to school. I try to obey mom and dad so I don't get in trouble. And it's like, yeah, but how about me? And this is what I felt like God was asking. How about me? Eternity. Life after death. It's one of those things that we don't like to talk about. I hate talking about it. Listen, one of the things that my least favorite thing to do as a pastor, you know what it is? Take a guess. Funerals. Can't stand them. And I'm an empathizer. So people are crying, and I'm just like, sometimes I don't know the person. I've been asked to do these before because I'm a local pastor. And I don't know any of these people. And I'm just starting to fill up with emotion because I'm like, they're hurting, and I'm starting to feel that pain, you know what I mean? And you go into someone's, it's like, how do you enter into somebody's life without entering into their pain? You know, how do you go into a situation where someone's hurting and someone may even pass or someone's near passing? It's like, what do I say to somebody in that situation? I've got no words. I'm praying for you. Whatever. It happens for a reason. Happens for a reason? Are you really going to throw that one at me? I mean, what do you do, right? That's horribly difficult. Because it's like, it's permanent, it feels. The great unknown. Any of you ever died and came back? Yeah. I mean, I do know, I've heard of people had those near-death experiences, and I don't ask like a lot of questions except for a lot of questions. I'm like, okay, so what did this look like? What did that look like? I mean, come on, what did it feel like? And like, really, is this, or were you just delusional? I have no idea if those experiences are real or authentic or not. I don't know. I had a friend, it wasn't a near death, he just had like this weird out of body thing, and he said he went to heaven. And he was describing, this is a really good friend of mine, and he's not a liar, and he's not on drugs, so I'm like, I just take his word for it. I'm like, all right, dude, that's amazing. Why can't I have something like that? I want to go to heaven, but no, I'm coming back. I want to have a near death, not death. I like my life, thank you very much. I think that's one of the things that has always scared me the most in my life, was the idea, because it's everything else. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You lose your job, maybe your car gets repoed, maybe your house gets repoed, maybe you're living in a tent, but you're living. Hey, you're living. You don't have enough money for food, you lose a few pounds. You know, there's always this good way of looking. I was like, what else? I mean, but it's like that is so unknown. We have no idea what that's like. Because really nobody's ever came back that we know. I mean, I don't know. Do you know of anybody personally or besides reading books? Anybody? Yeah. So nobody that I know has ever had that experience. I surely haven't. So it's like this huge unknown, and it can be terrifying. Well, in Luke chapter 15, we've actually read this before. It's the parable of lost things. You see, one of the things that scares me about the unknown is that it's unknown. So there's got to be an element of trust that you have. Because in this life, so I grew up in a church that focused a lot on the afterlife, on heaven, which I was like, yeah, I want to go there. And then the hot place, I don't want to go there. Because everything that the Bible describes the hot place like is really yuck. And everything about the good place is really good, right? So it makes sense that you want to go up and not down, right? Nobody's agreeing? You guys are crazier than I thought you were. So the question always remains, are we lost in this life? Do we need to be found? And would we be lost in the next life, or are we found? So Jesus is talking, and this is Luke, the Gospel according to Luke, chapter 15. And Jesus is hanging out with the people who he loves and who love him. And the tax collectors and other notorious sinners, notorious, well known for how naughty they are. They came to listen to Jesus teach. And this made the Pharisees and teachers of the religious law, all these religious people, made them very upset. And they complained that he was associating with these sinful people, even, oh my gosh, listen, wait for it, even eating with them. What? Notorious sinners? He broke bread with them? Absolutely. So Jesus told them a story. He's like, all right, let's say a man, and this story, by the way, is a parable. Now, a parable is a story that uses kind of a simile or a metaphor. It uses one example to help explain another example. It uses an example of something that's different but is similar to it so that the people would try to understand what he's talking about. So Jesus tells them this parable, this story. It's a metaphor. It's a simile. So if a farmer has 100 sheep and one of them gets lost, what's he going to do? Just like, oh, well, I got 99 more. One little lamb ain't going to bother me none. No. He'll leave the 99 others in the wilderness and go search for the one that is lost until he finds it. And when he has found it, he will joyfully carry that little one on his shoulders. And when he arrives home, he will call together his friends, his neighbors, saying, "Rejoice with me, because I have found my lost sheep." In the same way, there is more joy in heaven over one lost person, sinner, individual, who repents and returns to God than over 99 others who are righteous and haven't strayed away. See, so the religious people are, theoretically the safe ones, right? The religious people, the Pharisees, they're the ones, they must be the 99 because they would never stray, right? They're too good for that. And he's like, okay, so while you guys are, in your mind, you're huddling here, all safe because you're smarter than everyone else, and you got some knucklehead who's going astray just because they like to have fun and they see something shiny in the distance and they chase after it. Now the shepherd's got to leave all the good sheep and go chase after the one, because that one who probably deserves to be lost, God's like, but I love them. Even though they're a little bit ADHD, Even though they just kind of run around and they're just like, they seem senseless sometimes, I love them dearly and I'm going to go chase after them. They're still kind of looking at him. He's like, all right, okay. Now, or, verse 8, suppose a woman has 10 silver coins. Now, the reason why this woman has 10 silver coins, a lot of historians and theologians believe that this is part of this woman's dowry. This is part of a wedding gift. It's not simply a day's wage. It's way more than that sentimentally. It represents her union with her spouse, the love that they share. This coin means way more than just a dollar amount. It's part of what she holds close to her. What if she loses one? Won't she light a lamp and sweep the entire house and search carefully until she finds it? And when she finds it, she will call in her friends and her neighbors and say, rejoice with me because I have found my lost coin. She holds it to herself. And in the same way, there is joy in the presence of God's angels when even one of these wretched people over here, not you guys are religious and good, but all of these wretched people here, when one of them repents, now they're starting to maybe sink in a little bit more. That maybe he might be meaning them more than they realize. All right, okay. To illustrate this even further, Jesus goes on to tell them, all right, okay. A man has 2 sons. The younger son told his dad, I want my share of the estate, Dad, you loser. Before you die, because I want to go out and have fun with my friends, I want to party. I'm sick of living by these rules. You and Mom are lame. I'm going to take my camel, I'm going to race it, baby. And I'm going to get out of here. So his father agrees to divide his wealth between his sons. Now, already the Pharisees are really getting annoyed because this is the worst one. This one is like, excuse me, the father is dividing his wealth between his sons? Like, and he's not even dead? Who would do that? So they're starting to get aggravated with the father. Notice that. A few days later, this younger son packs all his belongings and moves to a very distant land where he can have complete freedom and nobody will know who he is. Anonymity. And there he wasted all his money in wild living. But the time his money ran out and all his friends left, and he was all by himself, a great famine swept over the land, and he was starving. He persuaded a local farmer to hire him, and the man sent him into the fields to feed the pigs. So clearly he was way far away from his homeland because they didn't have any pigs where he was from. They were unclean. So he was so far away, he was able to work in the pigsty. And the young man became so hungry that even the pods he was feeding the pigs looked good to him. But no one gave him anything. And when he finally came to his senses, he said to himself, oh my goodness, at home, even the servants have food enough to spare. And here I am dying of hunger. What is wrong with me? I'm going to go home. I'm going to say to my dad, Dad, listen, I have sinned against you. I've sinned against heaven. God, I know, is mad at me as well. And I'm no longer worthy to be called your son, but I don't need that. Please just make me a servant. Just let me live here where it's warm and I have food and clothes and I will work my back end off for you. He had this whole script memorized. And so he started on his way home. And while he was still a long way off, his father saw him coming. He was filled with love and compassion. And he ran to his son and he embraced him and kissed him. And his son said to him, all right, Dad, before you stop kissing me for a second, I know there's going to be a smack or something coming. There's got to be. Listen, I've sinned against you. I've sinned against God, and I'm no longer worthy of being called your son. But his father said to him, servants, quick, bring the finest robes in the house and put it on him. Give a ring to his finger and his sandals on his feet, and kill the calf we've been fattening. We must celebrate with a feast, for this son of mine was dead and is now returned to life. He was lost and now he was found. So let us party. Let's party. Now, everybody around him who could identify with the younger brother is rejoicing in this conversation, and the Pharisees are brewing with anger. Why? Because what kind of feckless father would allow his son to treat him with such disdain and then allow him back in? See, because in order to be right with your father, you have to follow all the rules, man, whether you like it or not. I mean, because what you find out is the other brother, I'm not going to read it all right this second, but the older brother is livid. He's like, excuse me? That loser son who is out there wasting well, I can't believe, Dad, that you would do this. I've been with you this whole time, working my butt off for you. And this is how you treat me? I've never gotten a fatted calf. I've never even gotten a lamb, for Pete's sake. No party for me. I was like, man, I remember when I first read that several years ago, I was like, wait, does the pastor always stop at the younger son coming home? Because I don't remember this part. Because as I'm reading it, I'm thinking, man, that would be me. I would be livid. Because I'm being such a good boy. You know how hard it is to be so good? You know how hard it is to be obedient to mom and dad all the time? It's impossible. You know how hard it is that I got to clean my room because my brother doesn't clean his room? I'm just doing everything I can so I can be good, so that I can, well, my parents didn't have a lot of money, but I was hoping that maybe someday I'll have an inheritance. That I'll be the good one. My brother, he's lost it a long time ago. But I'm working. And I read this and I'm like, man, that older brother has every right to be upset. Every right. And the truth is, he does. But that's not the way God's house works. And each one of these, each person is representing God. The farmer, the woman, the dad. And each time God is saying, listen, I love you. I don't care if you're lost because you're ADHD and you're not paying any attention. I don't care if you were mishandled. If by carelessness you've been treated in such a way that you feel lost, maybe hurt in your past, in your childhood or whatever. I don't care if you're willful and rebellious and stubborn. I love you no matter what. And I'm going to chase after you no matter what. God isn't up there saying, you guys really anger me. And I can't wait till it's your time to go. And I'm going to torture you forever. That's not what God does. God's like, listen, I run to you. I chase after you. I love you. We are the ones who run away from God. I don't understand why we do it. We just do it. Because God is kind of scary, or I'm sure he's going to keep me from doing something fun. Every authority in my life keeps me doing something fun. Just finish my taxes, for Pete's sake. No fun. Daddy's not happy. But I do what I'm supposed to do so I don't go to prison. Right? God's like, listen, I love you. And in this life that we live today, now, here and now. I give you this life and I want you to live it abundantly. I don't want you to miss anything. I want you to experience life in its fullness. But this life, the Bible says, is kind of like that morning dew, the fog that comes usually spring or fall, late fall, the fall, when the temperature is different than the water temperature and it creates all that fog. It just appears for a while, and then as the sun comes out, it's gone, right? It's like a vapor that comes out of a tea kettle, and as it's whistling, you see this vapor, and it's like, oh, I can see it, and then it's gone. That's how life is. It's so fast. It's so quick. And he's like, listen, I want this life, as short as it is, to be good and abundant and free, but I don't want you to worry because I chase after you in life. You think I'm going to let you be lost in death? No. I've got you. Why would I just have you in life and then oh, sorry, man. I fumbled the ball. I know, I'm sorry. You went to the wrong place, but. No, there's something about the way that God has made us. And I believe this with all my heart, that he gives everyone, an opportunity to turn to him. I believe that with everything in my being. And that we have to make a choice at some point to say, yes, God, I want to follow you. Or no, God, I don't. I don't believe that he loses anyone in death. I believe some people run away from God in death, which blows my mind. I think I mentioned it a couple weeks ago that I feel like it's kind of like if you have a rebellious or somebody in your family, one of your kids is the way I always think of it, and they just won't follow the rules. I mean, they're like adults now, and they want to live at home, but they want to live at home the way they want to live, and you have to say, I'm sorry, you can't live here and live like that. You can't bring that into the house. You can't do that kind of thing in the house. I've got other kids to protect. I've got, things. We just can't do that. They want to live necessarily in the house, of course. But it's like, well, that's a privilege, right? So you got to live by the rules or you don't live here. It's kind of that way with God. It's like, so if someone says, okay, I'm not willing to do it, then are they choosing not to live at home? I kind of think so, right? If you say, okay, here's a list of rules. There's like 3 of them. Not much, right? 3 or 4 rules. That's all it takes. Can you do this? I'm not going to do that. Then you can't live here. No, I can. No, you can't. No, I can. You watch. I'll live here. No, you can't. It's my house. You can't live here. And then the sheriff comes. Hopefully it doesn't get to that point. But I think it's the same way with God. God's like, listen, I want you here because I want a relation. I don't want you just to follow some rules to get you in here. That's not, I want a relationship with you. I want you to love me, and I want to love you, and I want to be friends with you, and I want that to be who we are together. And I want to love you from now till all eternity. If you don't want that, though, then you don't want what I have, because that's what it is. It's love. It's relationship. It's closeness. And when we have friends and family and neighbors who don't understand, when we have people in our lives that's scared of death, it's like, listen, we have something to offer them. We have a God who pursues people and who will not let somebody be lost. He chases after us. And we have that. We can offer our faith to those people. Not because we're afraid of death, but because we have this amazing relationship with our God. All right, I hope that made sense. If not, come talk to me. I'll confuse you a little more.